Happy Mother's Day, everybody. Today on Breakfast, Lunch, and Dinner Cooking, we are going to be making cinnamon rolls. Yum, yum. So here we go. All right, I've got some milk I've heated up here just to kind of between hot and warm. 105 to 115 is what they say. I've got pack of yeast, and I'm going to add 1/4 cup of sugar to this. And I'm going to let this rest for a minute. And let that yeast take hold, and then I'll be back. Okay, I've let my yeast rest a little bit, and it's good and bubbling, and I am adding this to my sourdough starter. So if you're doing this at home, do 2 packets of yeast if you don't have any starter. And then I've got a half a stick of butter that I melted. And now I'm going to add a teaspoon of salt. And I'm going to add just 2.5, or I guess I'll add 2.5 cups of my flour. I'm using organic flour here from Walmart that I found. Here's 2.5. It says 4.5 to 5, so I'm going to use 2.5. And I did use some of my starter because I think it just makes it have a little bit of a richer flavor. But you don't have to. Like I said, you can just use two packets of yeast. I hope your Mother's Day is going well. Mine is. I already did my swim this morning. Okay, I'm adding my 2 eggs. Stir that all in. I used probably 3/4 cup starter that I took out last night, if you guys have sourdough starter. But like I said, you don't have to. So you want to mix that all in. And like I always say, I'll put the recipe in the description for you. Okay, so now I'm going to get a couple more cups of flour. I'm not going to add totally all of it. Let's see what we got. What I'm going to do is after I get this mixed, I'm going to knead this for about 5 minutes. Just to get everything incorporated. And I'm going to turn it onto a floured board here. It's not a board, it's a counter. And I'm going to knead this for about, well, I don't know if you guys know how to knead, but I'll show you a little bit, but I don't want to leave you here for 5 minutes, so here we go. All right. To knead, you just keep folding over, and I'm going to set my timer for 5 minutes, and I'll be back to you. Okay, I've got my dough. I've kneaded it for about 5 minutes. There we go. And you want it to be smooth and elastic. And that's kind of where I got it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my bowl that I should have already get out. I'm sorry. Oh my goodness. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to butter my bowl. So it doesn't stick. And I am going to put my dough in there, And what I like to do is I like to take a clean kitchen towel and wet it a little bit. And then squeeze it out just so it's damp. And just let this rest until it's doubled. So I will see you in about an hour. Okay, my nice rolls have doubled in size. But before I do anything with that, I decided that I am going to make these into butterscotch pecan buns. So I've got a half a stick of butter. I guess I'm going to microwave it for a minute. And then I'm going to take a half of a cup of brown sugar. Half of a cup of brown sugar and a couple of tablespoons of corn syrup. I'm going to make these like a sticky bun. I'm so excited. Then I'm going to take a little bit of vanilla, probably a teaspoon. And I'm going to mix this up. We used to have a guy in Heartland, Michigan that had a bakery. And he used to make these huge buns that, oh my gosh, they were so delicious. But anyway, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put this in the bottom of my pan here. Because we are going to flip these over and they are going to be yummy, yummy, sticky buns. And depending on what they look like, I might glaze them and I might not. So we'll see what we got here. All right. Now I'm going to take pecans. And I'm going to sprinkle pecans all over this. Probably, I don't know, 3/4 of a cup, maybe a cup. I just want every bun to have these yummy pecans on it. This guy's, oh my God, this guy's pecan buns were so, so yummy. All right, I think that's enough. Kind of spread them out a little bit, so that they get on the top of all the buns. And now I'm going to set that aside. We are going to take our doubled cinnamon bun dough, and I am going to put a little more flour. And we are going to pound that down. Put a little bit of flour on my rolling pin. And I'm going to roll this out to be, you kind of want to roll it out to be square, if you can. Because we're going to roll this up after we put this wonderful butter. These are not low calorie, by the way. This is my Mother's Day treat for our little community. I'm going to take these to cards today, and I hope they like them. I have to give a special thank you to my sister-in-law. She treated me to the most wonderful cruise, Norwegian Cruise Lines, for 5 days, and 6 days and 5 nights. Oh my gosh, was that wonderful. So I'm gonna just take, this is about a half a stick of butter. That's not working real well. I'm gonna try this. I just have softened butter here. And this is probably about a half of an inch thick, I think. And I'm just gonna smear this half a stick of butter all over this dough. So this is going to be about 2 sticks of butter in this. Like I said, this is just a special treat, but I'm calling these Butterscotch Pecan Rolls. So we'll see what we got. I did let that rise for probably, I don't know, an hour and 15 minutes, something like that. The butter on it is what makes it so you can peel it apart and enjoy every morsel. Okay, that was about a half a stick. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take brown sugar and I'm gonna just put it on there as evenly as I can. I like the brown sugar rather than the white sugar. It makes it more caramely. You want to get it kind of to the edge so they don't get a unsweet bite. I only added a 1/4 cup of sugar to the dough because you want the dough to be kind of not sweet so that it's got like a contrast, if that's the word. And then what I did is I took, I don't know, about 3/4 cup of raisins and I soaked them in some hot water. You don't have to put raisins, but I don't know. This guy had raisins in this bakery in Heartland, Michigan, and he passed away and everyone's like, where's the sticky buns? But I guess that recipe went with him. So this is kind of my own little fabricated recipe. I soaked these in warm water for probably an hour and then drained them because you don't want dried out raisins. That should do it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start rolling this. Get everything to the edge. I'm going to start rolling this together. Kind of as tight as you can, really. And square it off a little. Like I said, you don't have to put the raisins in it if you don't want. But I like raisins in my cinnamon buns. They just add another dimension. But oh, this dough is so beautiful. And I do have my sourdough starter in there. About 3/4 cup, and then I used 1 packet of yeast. But you can, if you don't have sourdough starter, of course you can use 2 packets of yeast. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to roll that over, seam side down. I've seen them cut this with a string and like a, I don't know, dental floss string. I don't use dental floss, I use those gum picks. I love those things. But anyway, too much information, right? Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my knife and I'm going to cut this in half first. Try not to smash it. I am cutting on my counter, but I'm going to do it real lightly. And then, so I get them even. I'm cutting them in fourths. I want these to be big cinnamon rolls. You can actually cut this recipe in half if you want, but I wanted big ones. Just hoping they all fit in my pan. So I'm doing half, 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 half. And if you did have a unflavored dental floss string, I've seen them do that and it works really good. So I'm gonna get my pan. I guess I'll set it over here. I'm going to, I don't know if these are all gonna fit, like I said. So I'm gonna set them like that. I think what I'll do is I'll just use what I can in the pan, and then you want to give them a little room to grow. And then I'll just freeze the rest of them and bake them another time. So I let the dough raise about an hour and a half. Look how pretty those are. And then I'm going to let these rise for about 30 minutes or until they're doubled. Make them, you know, kind of push them into being round so they're real pretty. Butterscotch Pecan Rolls. Yum, yum. What a nice treat for Mother's Day. And they say you can actually refrigerate this dough for like 3 to 4 days if you want. So I got a little bit left over and I'm just gonna pop that in the freezer and enjoy it for another day. Okay, I'm gonna let these rise for about, don't they look beautiful? For about 30 minutes to an hour, and I'll get back to you. You're not gonna believe what I did. I forgot the cinnamon. So I guess this is what I'm gonna do. Sprinkle them all with cinnamon. Unfortunately, I can't believe I did that. Oh well. This is live TV, folks. But I'm sure they're still going to be yummy. I can't believe I did that. Oh well, I haven't made these in a long, long time, so here we go. Okay, I've let my rolls raise for about an hour, and they look so yummy. And I got my oven preheated to 375, so I'm going to put them in the oven. I'm going to put it in the oven for probably 40 minutes, 35 to 40 minutes. I'll check it at about 35. And I just wanted to tell you, I was actually on Royal Caribbean and it was wonderful. These young kids and their acts, it was like old-fashioned vaudeville, is it called? Anyway, they just put on such a show. I just couldn't believe the energy and the professionalism at these shows. And oh my gosh, they had some funny stuff. But anyway, I'm going to let these bake for about 35 or 40 minutes. And happy Mother's Day. I'll be back to show you these yummy butterscotch pecan rolls. Okay, they're coming out of the oven. They look wonderful. So these took about, I'd say 28 minutes, and I did poke them with the thing because you don't want them to be like sticky. So now what I'm gonna do is I am going to turn them over. Wish me luck. Onto this. And what they tell you to do is to let it set upside down for a minute. So I wanted to tell you, when I was cutting the cinnamon rolls and putting them on the pan, I was wondering why they didn't look more pinwheely, because I forgot to put the cinnamon in, so don't do what I did. And I watched this gal, her name is Franny Jo Savvy Sweet, and she bakes all the time. And I know, I've watched her enough that if she would have forgot that cinnamon, she would have redone the whole thing. God bless her. But anyway, I'm not that. So anyway, we're gonna lift this up. It said to let it set for a minute, so let's see what we got. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. You guys, they turned out perfect. Look at how gorgeous these are. Oh my gosh. So I am going to, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Butterscotch Pecan Rolls. I guess I really should cut one and show you guys what we got here. Let me see. I guess I'll do this one. Oh my gosh, you guys, these look so beautiful. I'm gonna take my tongs. Oh my gosh, they are so fluffy and so perfect. Look at that beautiful butterscotch pecan roll. I'm so excited. Anyway, I think my card players are going to enjoy these with me. And I was gonna put a drizzle, but they look so pretty, I'm just gonna leave them. But if you want to, the drizzle is just butter, melted butter, a little bit of vanilla and powdered sugar, till you get like a drizzle consistency and a little bit of milk. But anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you all you mothers have a wonderful Mother's Day. And remember, there's nothing you can't do if you put your mind to it. And love the Lord with all your heart. God bless all the moms and everybody. Bye now.